Tonight, a summer of smoke.
Now we have multiple days where the air quality is really bad.
More polluted air blanketing southern Ontario.
This really is kind of the new normal.
From western wildfires. Speed cameras targeted.
Certainly the criminal charge of mischief could be laid.
In an area where residents say they're needed.
There's a lot of speeders coming down in the school area.
The police investigation now underway in Guelph. And
from devices in the field back to the control room.
An inside look.
It's the nerve center of our day-to-day operations.
At the massive job of keeping the lights on.
We have about 165,000 customers in a service area of about 1,100 square kilometers.
During emergencies across Waterloo region.
Good evening. The sky may be a little less smoky in Waterloo region tonight, but as far as the air quality goes, experts say we are not in the clear just yet from the pollution that's been drifting in from western wildfires this summer. Let's go to CTV's Alexandra Hollick live with our top story now. So Alexandra, what should people know before heading outside?
That there are still health risks at play here, Tony. Eyes, nose, and throat irritation, all thanks to tiny invisible particles that linger in the air even when the haze clears out. It's been a smoky summer here in southern Ontario.
We were able to see it on the horizon.
The hazy skies wreaking havoc on air quality and posing risks to people's health.
That haze that we can see right now is a really good indication that all the stuff we can't see is also in the air.
What we're particularly concerned about with wildfire smoke is something called PM 2.5. It's basically really small particles that are put in the air as a consequence of the wildfires.
The invisible specks can spark serious health conditions when breathed in, affecting a person's lungs and heart.
How bad those are depends on how much smoke is in the air as well as how long you're exposed.
And while everyone is at risk, some may feel it more than others.
If you have asthma, if you have, COPD or existing lung disease, that can make it that much harder for you.
It can also be tough on those with seasonal allergies.
If they're prone to allergies, that they do notice more irritation of their nose, of their throat, of their eyes during wildfire smoke events.
Events that have also triggered special air quality statements from Environment Canada.
If we compare it to the 2024 season, we've seen a lot more special air quality statement this year.
Something one environmental expert says we can expect to see more often.
The smoke is going to keep blowing downwind from the boreal forest in Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and even into BC. And so this really is kind of the new normal.
But he says there are ways to reduce risks.
Most ignitions are human caused. So the fewer fires we start, the less smoke we have to breathe.
As for how to avoid breathing in that smoke, health officials recommend wearing a mask. But
staying indoors is the key thing to protect yourself.
As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, the Air Quality Health Index for Kitchener was at a 5 or a moderate risk. While it is an improvement from an 8 on Monday, it's expected to stay at a moderate risk overnight tonight and into tomorrow. There are nearly 750 wildfires currently burning across the country. Tony.
Alexandra Hollick on the impact here in southern Ontario. Alexandra, thank you. And time now for a first look at the weather. Let's head over to Alex Pinto here in studio. Alex, it was amazing to see on the weekend just how often the entire skyline was obscured by that smoke. Buildings that we're used to normally seeing dotting the skyline just completely disappearing in that haze.
Yeah, that haze, the smoggy conditions, and we're still feeling it a little bit out there too. Not to that extreme level, as we just heard from Alexandra there too, but yeah, if you're taking a peek outside, you still might notice a little bit of those hazy conditions. That local smoke still with us here this afternoon as we get into the evening hours and even into overnight. That is expected to stick around. But right now, just mainly some cloud cover on and off here in Waterloo region and surrounding areas. Not seeing too much active weather at this point. Currently 28 degrees, so that is our high, and we did hit that around 2 o'clock or so this afternoon. 24 in Sarnia, 26 if you are in the city of Hamilton. And with the humidex, not too much hotter. We're not seeing any extreme humidity or extreme heat today. Feels more like 31 in KW, 30 in Mount Forest, 32 in the city of Toronto. So still warm out there, and yeah, definitely still noticing a little bit of those hazy conditions, but we could be in for a little bit of active weather before the work week comes to an end. So we're going to take a look at that a little bit later. Tony.
Noted. We'll get those details from you. Thank you, Alex. In Guelph tonight, police are trying to find out who damaged some speed enforcement cameras. At least 2 of the automated devices were knocked over on the weekend, something police say could lead to charges. CTV's Colton Weens reports.
This automated speed enforcement camera on Clarefields Drive East lays on its side Tuesday morning, and the area that houses the camera appears to be broken.
I don't know who go and destroy it.
Those who live nearby say it's a needed feature in the community and are surprised to see it on the ground.
It's a good thing because there's a lot of speeders coming down in the school area. This is the second time this had happened.
Guelph police say they found out on Sunday.
We did get a report of one in the south end that had been knocked over and apparently had sustained some damage. Another one in the same south end neighborhood apparently was knocked over as well sometime on the weekend.
Just a few kilometers away from Clarefields Drive East, another camera tipped over by Sir Isaac Brock Public School on Colonial Drive.
If there's damage, then that's a criminal charge of mischief. Even interfering with the use of the cameras, even if there's no physical damage, it's just knocked over and then stood back up. For the period that it's knocked over, it's of course not functioning as it's intended to. So there could be a charge of mischief for interfering with property as well in that case.
The city says the cameras are maintained by a third party, saying in an email, while any act of vandalism, be it against the city or private property, is unfortunate, the city will work to ensure the cameras are quickly restored. Tracy says the city tries to inform residents when and where the cameras are being placed in the city, but says there is one way to help avoid the frustration of getting a ticket, and that's just slowing down. While the program can generate revenue for Guelph, the focus is safety. Revenue is used to cover operating and maintenance costs, and any further revenue is placed in a reserve fund for other road safety initiatives.
Yeah, certainly it all comes out of the public purse at the end of the day.
Police will be canvassing for home security footage and are asking the public to share any information that could help. Colton Weens, CTV News, Guelph.
Now to Stratford and a follow-up on a story we had last week. Storm debris has been removed from a dam gate, but water levels that were lowered for the work to be done still haven't come back up. CTV's Karis Mapp tells us how the wait has led to people rallying around a local business.
The gate at Stratford's Ore Dam is shut. Following a significant storm, the gate automatically raised to prevent flooding, but was unable to close again because of debris.
What came through was defined as coarse woody debris. So it wasn't one large branch, rather it was kind of a collection of smaller to mid-sized branches.
Now, a waiting game for rain to fall and refill Lake Victoria.
There hasn't been any rainfall, so that's just natural runoff that's slowly running into Lake Victoria. Of course, with this hot weather, we're also battling against evaporation, so the level of water increasing is occurring very, very slowly.
The boathouse especially feeling the impact of the lower water levels, halting all water activities that typically run from May until Thanksgiving.
August usually accounts for like 40% of our business, so it's like it's a big hit, but we're getting a lot of support, so we're grateful for it.
Water levels may remain low for now, but local businesses are trying to raise morale in the city with a community initiative bringing awareness to what's happening in the area.
Born of cold and winter air and mountain rain combining.
The Avon River Water Bucket Challenge. What started in jest, now taking social media by storm.
We nominate the Downtown Stratford BAA.
It was actually just a silly idea that one of the staff members had. They had a TikTok, it had like a song from Frozen, and they said this would be cool.
Local businesses, including Grotto Hair Salon, joining the fun.
We've just actually done so much here that it just made sense that I would come down. We brought our water from our dehumidifier and use that just to recycle the water.
Today, Coles and Keys Optical also getting in on the action.
It was a lot of fun, and that's kind of what this whole community does all the time, is fun and finding different ways to bring attraction to Stratford.
I am not surprised that the Stratford community is, taking this as an opportunity to show their support for both the boathouse and also the river.
Obviously, it's not going to fill the river, and we know that, but it's getting people down here, seeing what we have to offer, and also see the impact of this river.
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Stratford.
No significant rain in the forecast for the next couple of days is bad news for farmers. In some parts of Ontario, they're really feeling the effects of 3 straight months of below average rainfall. Some are seeing dry fields for the first time in years, while others say their crops are still hanging on. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
Last year was the wettest year ever, and this year is the driest I've seen. We want moisture to keep the silks moist.
At Maple Hill Urban Farm in Ottawa's West End, manager Don Trott says this season's crop of corn might not be as big as in years past.
I really haven't been concerned about the dry weather until the last week or so when corn starts tasseling. And that's kind of a critical time for the corn crop.
The forecast in Ottawa and Eastern Ontario shows a minimal chance of rain over the next week. Environment Canada's rainfall in July was about half of the normal average. That could affect crops, including corn.
Corn's pollinating, the silks are moist, and the pollen's got to hit that moist silk in order to pollinate the corn. And then you need the moisture to fill out the kernels.
Look at it, it's right there. There's lots of water in the soil.
On another section of the same farm, farmer Steve Baker says he's not worried for now.
Also, the plant is going to collect humidity every morning. It's going to run it right down its stalk into the ground, right at its root. So, yeah, I don't worry too much about dry weather.
You can see it dry.
Over at Veggie Trail Farms, some of their crops have also been affected by the hot, dry weather.
My kale is coarse because it's hot, it's dry. The leaves are coarser than normal.
But many of their plants are doing fine. Owner Tammy Bannon says they are built to cope with these types of conditions.
It affects us, but my plants are more drought tolerant. Because we don't irrigate, okay, the roots go down. They go down deep. And feel the moisture on the root.
Yeah, it's nice and cool too.
Okay, it's cool and it's moist down there, and all those nutrients are deep down in the soil.
Some produce may be smaller this year due to the lack of rain, but Bannon says there's a silver lining to the quality.
Corn, tomatoes, peaches, they'll be smaller, but they'll be sweeter.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Car crashes, severe storms, even technical failures can all cause electricity outages. And tonight, we've got an inside look at who works to get the lights back on in Waterloo Region. CTV's Spencer Turcott now with a behind-the-scenes look at the Innova Power Control Room.
A scary sight in Kitchener last month, an electrical malfunction sparking a fire and forcing this live hydro wire to dance along a residential street. More than 1,600 homes were without power for several hours, but Innova crews helped get the situation under control and restore power.
It does take our crews time to assess and to safely be able to repair that.
Part of that initial assessment happens here inside Innova's control room, which Matt Grimes supervises.
We have about 165,000 customers in a service area of about 1,100 square kilometers. We're mandated to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have 14 operators in here that make that happen.
All these monitors closely track electricity across Kitchener, Waterloo, and the townships of Woolwich, Wellesley, and Wilmot.
It's the nerve center of our day-to-day operations, and they're responsible for working with our field crews to make sure we reliably and safely provide power to our customers. We get near real-time alerts from devices in the field back to the control room.
The staff here have to keep their head on a swivel, triaging incidents and outages.
That's another priority, is alerting customers through the outage map on our website of ongoing outages, keeping them up to date on the estimated time of restoration.
Of course, it's not as easy as flipping a switch to restore power, especially with multiple outages at once. It could take minutes, hours, or in extreme cases, days.
We work off of the largest number of customers out. We will try and find the cause of that first, and then we go down the list.
The severity of the situation and different safety concerns also factor in. In terms of what to do if you experience an outage, Innova says customers can call in if it's it's not already noted on their online outage map. If the outage is being worked on, they ask for the public's patience and assure everyone they are aware of their role.
We are the supplier in the area. We're responsible for keeping the lights on.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
And we'd like to remind you to start your morning with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. Local content from our news team right to your inbox every day, including a look at the top stories of the day, the latest weather forecast, and we have some must-see videos on there for you as well. You can sign up for it at ctvnewskitchener.ca. A vacant regional council seat will soon be filled, and it won't be through a by-election. Coming up, CTV's Ashley Bacon on how the next appointment to local government will work.
Still seeing some hazy conditions out there, and some scattered showers could be on the way. I'll break it down in your full forecast coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, the region of Waterloo is getting closer to naming a new councillor after the death of Councillor Carrie Williams back in April. CTV's Ashley Bacon now on how the position will be filled by appointment.
Waterloo Regional Council will vote next week, appointing a new councillor to fill a Kitchener seat left vacant following the death of Councillor Carrie Williams earlier this year. An appointment without a by-election doesn't sit well with everyone.
I wish that we had an election because the way it is, 2 of the 4 regional councillors representing the city of Kitchener have been appointed rather than elected. And I think that's a sad state of affairs.
The deadline to apply was August 1st, and according to the region's website, 44 candidates are in the running. 26 are listed as residents of the city of Kitchener specifically. The remaining are made up of people who live throughout the region.
Earlier this year, another seat was filled without an election when former councillor Rob Dutchman stepped down to run as a candidate for the Ontario Liberal Party. Matt Rodriguez was appointed his seat after Regional Council voted for him to take over. Rodriguez was the runner-up from the 2022 municipal election.
Here's the problem is that all the councillors who are elected have democratic legitimacy because they have been elected through the electoral process. The people who are appointed are in a different standing. The only people who've elected them are the council members.
Regional Chair Karen Redmond saying in an email to CTV News, in part, the process we choose to fill the vacant seat is democratic, inclusive, and affordable for residents. Adding, this role comes with both unique challenges and opportunities, and I look forward to working with the successful candidate. As for the next steps, each of the candidates will present to council for 5 minutes next week before a decision is made. Then the following day, the councillor will take the oath of office. And on August 27th, their first council meeting as a councillor. The next chance for councillors to win their seat in a regional election is slated for fall 2026. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Kitchener.
A new pledge from the province today to help more people in Waterloo Region find a family doctor. The province announced $4.1 million to help 4 local healthcare teams connect people with primary care providers. Those teams are Community Health Caring KW, New Vision Family Health, the Waterloo Region Nurse Practitioner-led clinic, and Woolwich Community Health Centre. The province says they were chosen based on geographic areas where there are high needs for primary care.
We have not been able to intake as many patients as we should be. We sit at about 130% of our capacity at our current numbers. We serve over 26,000 patients. I think we are in an incredible position to lead a lot of this work, whether it be through the Primary Care Action Team, through the Heart Hub, through all of the other funding that we are benefiting from here in Kitchener-Waterloo. We are leaders.
The province says the goal is to connect 300,000 people across Ontario with primary care this year. Canadian medical experts say measles transmissions in our country continue to soar. As CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, it could result in Canada losing its status as a country where measles has been eliminated in a matter of weeks.
Canada was declared to have eliminated measles in 1998.
So measles elimination is defined by the World Health Organization, and it means that within a certain geographical area, in this case Canada, that there is no sustained transmission of measles over a 12-month period.
Jana Shapiro from the University of Toronto says it doesn't mean there were 0 cases, just no sustained transmission.
And now that we've seen a resurgence in the past year or so in Canada, we are at risk of losing that elimination status in 2025.
10 of our 13 provinces and territories have seen cases. Alberta has over 1,600 cases of measles, and Ontario has seen more than 2,300.
We really had our bulk of our cases in kind of March, April, but that's not yet the case in Alberta. I think there's still quite a few new cases being reported on a weekly basis.
Many of the cases sprang from a single event in New Brunswick last October, which led to transmission in other provinces.
I have a lot of concerns. Very deep concerns professionally, foremost, and also personally. Professionally, because measles is truly the most contagious virus that you can come in contact with.
Michelle Canor was diagnosed with measles in May and was hospitalized for several days despite getting a vaccination decades ago. And as a teacher, she worries about measles spread.
Average 32 kids in a classroom in city schools. It would be a really dangerous thing to have classrooms of children taken out by the measles. And most will manage it. Most will be able to be resilient and overcome it, but some may not.
Shapiro says Canada could lose its measles eliminated status as early as October and says public health vaccination efforts must continue. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency has issued a recall notice for some chocolate. There are concerns about possible salmonella contamination related to the Dubai brand pistachio and Kaffa milk chocolate. It is distributed in Quebec and sold online. The federal agency discovered the potential contamination in some affected products during a food safety investigation. No illnesses have been reported. The notice says the recalling firm is Distribution Bonbon JJ Candy. Well, let's take a live look outside now at Highway 8 as it passes over the Grand River looking toward KW. It certainly is smoggy, hazy out there. You can see the effect of that wildfire smoke on our skyline in Waterloo region. Alex is back in just a couple of moments to tell us what the weather is looking like as we head through the rest of this week. Also ahead, stacked Sammies that keep people coming back. On this week's Made Right Here, we will stop by to see what's on the menu at Harper's Deli. Next, though, a new report finding that the deadly Titan submersible tragedy was preventable. What a U.S. Coast Guard investigation has just revealed. Those details next. Welcome back. I feel like we had a couple of, well, I was off on Friday and you were away as well. Spent some time on the West Coast on the weekend. Looked good.
For a wedding, and the weather was pretty nice as well, which is always good to see. Because you never know. I feel like when you're, in the Vancouver area, do we want it to rain or are we going to see some sunshine?
Well, you got the ocean, you got the mountains, you got a lot affecting the weather out there.
Yeah, but definitely beautiful.
This week here, we are into a bit of a classic Southern Ontario summer week. Hot, not like oppressive humidity though. I was looking ahead at this week and it looks like it's going to be fairly bearable.
Yeah, so pretty much where we should be for this time of year. So maybe a couple of degrees above normal, but we're not seeing that extreme heat, extreme humidity that we're so used to seeing and we've seen over the last few times here in the summer. So pretty nice, but yeah, we got to get through a bit of this haze, a little bit of smoggy conditions still with us as we take a live look over the Grand River, Highway 78 this hour. So one thing we're also noticing too, maybe you've taken a peek at it, that sun is setting earlier and earlier now. We are now away from that 9 o'clock hour. We are setting now at about 8:40 p.m. So tonight might not be the best day in terms of getting that sunset shot just because of the smoggy conditions we are seeing. And as we noted earlier in the hour too, if you have allergies, you might still notice a little bit, maybe some eyes itching a little bit, or you've got a cough or two. So of course that from the wildfires that we are seeing out west making its way towards us here in the east from there. As we get into the rest of the evening, mainly just a bit of cloud cover for us in Waterloo region, but we are starting to see some scattered showers making their way around southern and southwestern Ontario, Sarnia, London. You might be in for a little bit of more wet weather as we get into the evening hours. Mount Forest too, on and off scattered showers, a chance of that as we look ahead over the next day or so. Bit of cloud cover moving in for us here in Waterloo region. We are not supposed to at this point see rain here in KW until Friday, but as we look at these scattered showers, it looks pretty close. So we might potentially get a little bit of some wet weather on and off, but at this point it could also barely miss it. So we're going to keep a closer eye on that. If you are going to be headed out to maybe a Barrie or making your way towards a Kawarthas and passing through Peterborough, you might get a little bit of wet weather as we end off the work week. And then getting into your weekend, though, at this point, it looks like it's not going to be a washout, which is some good news there. 27 degrees, so we have dropped down 1 degree. Our high today was 28, and we hit that officially around 2 o'clock or so this afternoon. 28 in Barrie, 27 in Mount Forest, but as we mentioned with Tony a little bit earlier, not feeling that extreme humidity. It is feeling closer to 30 here in KW, 31 in Goderich, 31 in Sarnia with the Humidex. So again, with that high, we are pretty close to normal for this time of year, maybe a couple of degrees higher. Record high, 35.6. That was set in 1918. And on this day in 1972, 4.4. That was our overnight low as we hit that record there. So overnight, 14 degrees, mainly clear conditions. We could see some increasing cloudiness past that midnight hour. And again, that local smoke that we have been seeing all day, those hazy conditions, that local smoke sticking with us as we get into the overnight as well. So for tomorrow, 28 degrees once again are expected high. 34 it's going to feel like with the Humidex, mainly cloudy conditions. The UV index is going to be sitting at an 8, which is considered very high. So over the next few days, just a bit of cloud cover expected for us here in Waterloo region. We'll see if any of those nearby scattered showers ends up maybe giving us a light sprinkle or so. But Friday, 30% chance of showers with an expected high of 27. Lambton, Kenton, Essex, a little bit of mixing sun and cloud expected for you before a chance for a bit of wet weather that could roll in for your Friday. In southern Georgia Bay, lucky you get some sunshine for your Wednesday, high of 28 degrees. Pretty nice day if maybe you're off on holidays and took an extended week off, maybe to enjoy some time by the water before some chance for a little bit of wet weather potentially for your Friday. And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture. Bruce sending us this beautiful shot from Guelph. Bruce says this is a giant swallow-tail butterfly and was taken over the long weekend in Gosling Gardens in the Royal City. A beautiful shot and a pretty nice weekend to check out some nature locally, which is pretty nice to see. So thank you for sending this, Bruce. You are tonight's Weather Watcher picture. We've seen some really great shots, butterflies, some bees recently, even a hummingbird last week. Some nice action shots. We love to see them.
Beautiful. Thanks for reminding us of the silver linings of the summer season too, because you're right about the sunset.
Yes.
As you know, my living room has quite a western exposure.
It does, yeah.
And I'm really noticing that sun peeking behind the horizon earlier. I mean, it happens every year, but it's still like, oh, come on.
It's okay. We're talking about it with Leanne. We still have quite a bit of summer left, but especially once we hit August, we're really starting to feel that. But then, you know, hey, we love, we were saying, a warm fall. So fingers crossed we get a nice extended summer.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Well, a new report has found the tragedy involving the Titan submersible was preventable. The tourist craft was on a dive to the Titanic when it imploded back in 2023, killing all 5 people on board. The U.S. Coast Guard investigation now finding major problems with the company behind the Titan, along with its controversial CEO. CTV's John Venevali Rao has details.
What happened to the Titan submersible and the loss of everyone on board, including a teenager, was examined extensively by the U.S. Coast Guard. And with the release of a more than 300-page report, an investigative board finding what many have long believed, that this marine casualty and the loss of 5 lives was preventable.
I'm mad because it happened, and I'm sad that all these people lost their lives. And that's why, to me, it should have never happened. It shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
The report placing blame on OceanGate, the American company behind the experimental sub, run by CEO Stockton Rush, who perished in the implosion. It cites inadequate design, certification, maintenance, and inspection processes for the Titan, adding there was a toxic workplace culture. Some who expressed safety concerns were fired or threatened with dismissal.
To start operations, was there pressure?
Oh, 100%.
The report finding the submersible was used despite several prior incidents involving its carbon fiber hull, adding OceanGate was able to operate Titan completely outside the established deep-sea protocols. The Titan had been on a dive off Newfoundland carrying passengers who paid up to $250,000 to see the wreck of the Titanic when the submersible imploded.
The good news is they would have been killed instantly, so they wouldn't have suffered. But they shouldn't have been killed in the first place. This was preventable.
In a statement, OceanGate, which is no longer operating, said we again offer our deepest condolences to the families of those who died and to all those impacted by the tragedy. The report also notes if CEO Stockton Rush had survived, criminal charges against him would have been considered. John Venavelli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Up next, a pledge for new help for Canada's softwood lumber sector as the trade war drags on. And we have developing news about a possible flight attendant strike at Air Canada, the results of a union vote just in, and what it could mean for labor action at the airline, coming up next. We have some developing news now. Air Canada flight attendants have voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action. Their union, the Canadian Union of Public Employees, announcing just in the last hour that the vote came in at 99.7% in favor of strike action. That's if contract talks with the airline are not successful. Negotiations began at the beginning of this year. If there's no new deal, the union has said a strike could happen as early as August 16th. So that's a week from this weekend. Talks were expected to resume at the end of this week, regardless of the outcome of the vote, which once again was 99.7% in favor of strike action if there's no deal. And some new numbers on our economy now. Canada's total trade deficit in June hit $5.9 billion. Total imports up by 1.4%, the first increase in 4 months. That was largely due to imports of industrial machinery. Total exports rose 0.9%, following a 2% increase in May. Exports of energy products contributed the most to that increase. With any trade deal with the U.S. in limbo right now, Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiled new measures today to help the softwood lumber sector. CTV's Rachel Aiello has details of the Prime Minister's message for the industry.
Unveiling new measures to snap the Canadian softwood sector's U.S. market dependence, today Prime Minister Mark Carney promised new loan guarantees and grants to help keep lumber companies afloat, accelerate product development, diversify markets, and fund retraining efforts.
We cannot count or fully rely on what has been our most valued trading relationship for our prosperity.
The move comes after the U.S. raised duties last month, prompting calls to make resolving the dispute a priority in the broader trade talks. Talks that Carney said today are continuing, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff escalation last week.
I haven't spoken to the president in recent days. We'll speak when it makes sense.
Mark Carney has to deliver.
While polls show Canadians appear willing to give Carney more time, pressure is increasing as they watch Trump make deals with other countries.
Canadians are increasingly worried about Trump and the state of the trade negotiations. Concern on that front has been increasing over the last number of weeks.
Today, as both countries work towards a new North American trade pact, 2 of Carney's top ministers are in Mexico, talking to officials about how they secured a 90-day pause on higher tariffs.
Perhaps we can also learn something from their approach. They took a much more measured and perhaps low-key approach, and it seemed to work for them.
All of this coming the same day that new federal data shows Canada's merchandise trade deficit has widened to the second highest on record since April's historic dip. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Okay, recapping our top stories on this Tuesday evening. Leanne Evans in studio with us tonight. And Leanne, more pollution blanketing southern Ontario, all coming from those western wildfires.
Yeah, exactly. And while the smoke has eased up a little bit, experts say we are not in the clear just yet from that poor air quality. There are also still health risks at play, like eyes, nose, and throat irritation. It can also be tough on those with seasonal allergies. With nearly 750 wildfires currently burning across the country, experts say we can expect to continue to see air quality statements in place over the summer. In Guelph, police are trying to find out who damaged some speed enforcement cameras. At least 2 of the automated devices were knocked down over the long weekend. Police will be canvassing for home security footage and are asking the public to share any information that could help, as officials say the damage done could lead to charges.
All right, and I've been waiting to talk to you about this one, looking at what our digital team is working on. Tonight, we're actually looking ahead to Oktoberfest celebrations. And I mean, you know I love 90s music, so take it away. This is exciting.
I was going to say, I think that you are going to be happy about this. When the announcement came out earlier today, it made me think of you. Former Bare Naked Ladies frontman Stephen Page will be headlining the Oktoberfest concert at Vilkeman Platz. He'll hit the stage Friday, October 10th to kick off the Thanksgiving weekend festivities. For more information on who else is performing, scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or as always, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Going to be a great show.
Oh.
It's always so fun celebrating Oktoberfest at Vilkeman Platz, but that's going to be a really good one.
Everyone's in for a treat. I saw Stephen Page. It was quite an intimate performance in Aurelia about 10 years ago. There were only about 60 or 70 people in the room. He's incredible. He's outstanding.
I think there will be more than 60 or 70 people in the crowd this time.
Yeah, everyone's in for a treat. Thanks,
Certainly.
Leanne.
Thank you.
Big bites, loads of layers, and a whole lot of local pride. One Waterloo sandwich shop is serving up more than your average lunch. On tonight's Made Right Here, we take you inside Harper's Deli, where stacked Sammies and hometown hustle are on the menu.
Harper's Deli in Waterloo, we specialize in old school Italian deli style sub sandwiches. Harper's is what I like to call like a sort of vintage sandwich shop. A lot of the sandwich shops nowadays, it's a mass chain, mass produced sort of product, where here, we get our buns from down the road. All our meat is produced in Guelph. We're cutting our vegetables fresh daily. It's high quality, really premium product that I feel resonates with the guests who are maybe looking for something a little bit better than they find at the normal sort of chains. So if you come in here, you'll notice it's a very small menu, and it's sort of curated that everything works very well together. You're not just getting a million different toppings and a million different sauces like you would at other spots. Nothing wrong with that, but you come in here for a very sort of specific curated flavor profile. So all the subs that you see on there are inspired by an Italian meat. So you're gonna find things like sopressata and Genoa, capicola, but everything you'll find is sort of in that Italian vein, where it's just the oil and vinegar, lettuce, onion, tomato, cheese. There's some herbs on there. And then even our condiments are Italian inspired, with pickled peppers, giardiniera, olive salad, sweet peppers, spicy chili. So if you like the Italian deli sandwiches, you're gonna love it here. So I was humming and hawing for a name, but there's a very special person in my life, my daughter, Harper. And so I thought Harper's Deli is the perfect name. Are you okay with doing this? Initially, there was some hesitation, kind of a little bit of embarrassment. Finally managed to convince her to do it, and now she loves it. Seeing the regulars, seeing the smiles on their faces, knowing that you're providing them with a good quality product, good value for that product, and just like you would in a fine dining restaurant where people are, oh wow, that tasting menu was incredible, I really can't wait to do that. It's the same affection that you're getting, even though you're providing them a much more condensed dining experience, right? Good food is good food across the board.
Celebrating another Canadian sports sensation. Just ahead, Burlington teen Victoria Mboko's breakthrough performance at the National Bank Open over the long weekend. Well, this is an amazing success story from the tennis court. Victoria Mboko continuing her incredible run at the National Bank Open in Toronto. The Burlington native's rapid rise through the ranks is inspiring a whole new generation of players. CTV's Allison Hurst has the story.
As Victoria Mboko reaches the semifinals in the National Bank Open in Montreal, young tennis players are gripped.
I think that's amazing. It makes me feel pride for like someone who came near this area actually got to a really high level at this young age.
Kian Rasulsadeh says it has him thinking about his future in tennis.
It kind of motivates me to pursue tennis.
18-year-old Mboko booked her ticket to the semifinals following a stunning defeat of world number 2 Coco Gauff and another dominant performance in the quarters.
To have such an achievement at a tournament like this is really a milestone for me, and I'm just so happy that I've got to have this whole experience in Montreal.
The Burlington teen is the first Canadian to reach the semis since 2019 when Bianca Andreescu won the tournament, and the youngest woman to reach the semis since 2015.
A year ago, Mboko was ranked outside the top 300. Yes, top 300 in the WTA rankings, and now she's cracked the top 50.
In Montreal, Mboko has dropped just one set.
She was a wild card in this event, so she's going to be enjoying this moment in front of the Montreal crowd, feeding off that raucous energy to try to propel her to the Canadian Open final.
Put your hand up. You like Fortnite.
Nike tennis camp coach Cameron Bentley is using her success and lessons from the court to inspire his campers.
I want them to, you may win the first set, you still got to win the second one. So, yeah, just, enjoy it, I guess. I'm sure she enjoyed it.
Her next match is tomorrow against 9th seed Elena Rybakina. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
All right, let's head over to the national newsroom now and check in with Heather Butts to find out what's coming up tonight at 11.
Tonight, serious warnings about wildfires.
We're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods.
The outdoor activities restricted, the consequences of breaking the rules, and where air quality is getting worse. Later on CTV National News.
Around seasonal conditions, but we are still seeing the hazy conditions out there. I'll let you know how your morning is looking and wake up weather coming up. Here's what's on CTV tonight at 7 o'clock. It's E-Talk before marathon episodes of The Big Bang Theory starting at 7:30.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
Leanne Evans is back with us now with a look at what our team is watching for later tonight. Leanne.
Well, Tony, we have a couple of fire investigations to tell you about. A 43-year-old man has been charged with arson in connection to a house fire in Ayr yesterday. He's being held for a bail hearing. And regional police have also made an arrest in connection to a Cambridge house fire in early July. Andrew Reese has been charged and is being held for bail. We'll have more details on those investigations tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Leanne, appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Alex, as we look to our wake-up weather, I can't help but tell you I'd like this trend to be positive this week with the weather, because you talked about later in the week maybe some rain around parts of Ontario. I'm heading up to the Kawarthas, the Kawartha Highlands on Saturday, so I'm hoping it's kind of out of the way by then.
At this point, it looks like the weekend. I know it's still early, but looks okay.
All right.
Not too bad.
All right.
I don't think we're going to see a washout or anything, but
I like early positive signs.
Yeah, we're putting positive vibes into the universe just for you.
For everybody.
Yeah, Friday
we do need some rain.
We do.
Yeah.
Especially with the hazy conditions we're seeing, and we're not really getting a break from the haze. When we look at your wake-up weather, 6 a.m., 19 degrees and pretty much hazy, starting then right through the rest of the morning. As we noted before, overnight, we are going to be seeing a bit more of that haze, local smoke sticking with us again because of the wildfires that we're seeing making their way from the west. By 10 a.m., 23 degrees. And then tomorrow, that's when we could see a little bit more cloud cover start to build, getting into the afternoon hours. But at this point, Friday, 30% chance of showers is what we're seeing. But yeah, could be some scattered showers throughout. So keep an eye on that.
We need it, but it's all about timing, right?
Exactly.
Hopefully it's something that works for everybody as we head into the weekend. Well, finally for us tonight, some high school students in Waterloo Region have been learning all about produce, growing it and selling it this summer. They are volunteers in the Youth in Food Systems program. Now, this is a project with Seeds of Diversity Canada, and it's been operating since 2019. They now run 6 school food gardens in the region and hold 3 food markets in the community, selling what's grown in those gardens, as well as produce that's donated from local farms.
So the food is sold at affordable prices as well, while also offering customers a pay-what-you-can option.
The goal with the stands is to engage our youth volunteers that we have every summer, to get them involved with agri-food, teach them about business, give them a chance to practice some entrepreneurship skills, and to give them an opportunity to learn about the food systems that impact our daily lives.
It makes me feel like, oh, I belong to this community. I can help you guys out.
Learning how to grow it, it's like easier to understand how hard it is to grow food and how you should value it.
The markets are held at Eastwood Collegiate Institute in Kitchener on Tuesday afternoon, Victoria Hills Community Centre on Wednesdays, and Rare Eco Centre in Cambridge on Thursdays, and they're going to continue until the end of August. What a great idea to take on a project like that, but also give back. And I've got to tell you, Alex, I'm looking at those carrots and I'm imagining how red those tomatoes are going to be, and can't you just taste the sort of sweet, crisp, amazing taste of garden-grown produce?
I just love it. There's nothing that beats just something fresh from the garden, whether, tomatoes, cucumbers, especially carrots. They've just got that added sweetness that you don't really get anywhere else.
There's something that makes them a cut above anything you can ever buy, and it is that time of year where it's all harvesting. So congratulations to those students for being community-minded about it as well.
A great initiative. We love to see that.
All right, that's our time. Thank you so much for checking in with us. News anytime on our website over at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Join Alex and me back here tonight at 11:30, right after the CTV National News. Have a great night.
Take care.